Hello and welcome to Ferris Sports Update on the Bulldog Sports Network. I'm your host, Rob Bentley, and today we'll talk women's basketball with head coach Tracey Dorow. Coach, in your 13th year here at Ferris, your team playing much improved basketball right now, 10-10 overall, still fighting for a spot in the GLIAC tournament. Talk about the progress you've made over the course of the season and where you're at right now.
I feel like we're playing consistently a lot harder than what we were playing earlier in the year, and we had put in all new offenses and some new defensive schemes. So, it took some time to adjust, as well as the return of Andrea Clancy earlier in the year from a stress fracture. And when she came back, we started playing really well, and I think we've gotten on a roll here. And then we played Grand Valley and Lake Superior the last two games and struggled with them a little bit. But I think all in all, we're playing a much higher level of basketball, and we're getting better.
You mentioned the Grand Valley State game going back about a week and a half ago to the 131 Showdown at Van Andel Arena, a close game that went down to the wire. You had chances to win it, but just a great all-around game, I guess, by both teams in front of a nice environment with over 5,000 fans.
What an amazing atmosphere. I mean, you were there. It was just electrifying. You got in there, loved how they did the starting lineups. The kids were very pumped up, very focused. We came out on fire and just really did a good job. I'd love to be able to play there again. I think we started off real strong. We hit a little lull there when we had some injuries, but Grand Valley's a very solid team, and they played very well, and they took the lead right back away from us.
The Bulldogs, after that game at Grand Valley, of course, you mentioned you went on the road to Lake Superior. Talk about last Thursday's game against a very good Lake Superior team, a game that went, again, down to the final minutes. You fell by 10, but talk about that game on the road.
We just couldn't buy a basket there. I felt like we played solid. We held them, I think, to 57 points, which is very good defense, but, we gave up a couple easy ones, and then we just couldn't buy a basket to save our lives. And, again, now we're playing without Andrea Clancy, and we didn't have the additional size in the middle, but we've got to make some adjustments, and I think we will. Going
back to the 131 Showdown again, talk about how big of a factor that was with a couple injuries late in that ball game and how that impacted the outcome.
Well, we were up 2 when Clancy went down with, we didn't think it was that severe, but we found out since then it's an MCL tear, not ACL, which is a big positive. However, we don't know if she'll make it back this year. It's a 3 to 6 week recovery period. In the same possession, after they stopped the play and started up again, Becky Hodek goes down in a collision and has to be out for about 5 minutes of the game, and next thing you know, we're down 10. We made a valiant effort run back, to get back in the game and cut it to 3, but just couldn't get over that hump. They held us off, and, give Grand Valley credit. Some of their players really stepped up and played well.
Talk about the play of your freshmen this season. You have a number of young players that have really stepped up and made bigger contributions as the year has went on.
The freshmen, all of them came in injured, and I was really disappointed in that because we were very excited about what they could contribute to making our team just that much better from last season. Sarah Deshawn got her first start this weekend and really did a nice job. She's been playing better and better, and she played down the stretch at Grand Valley. In Van Andel, we used her, and she hit a couple big shots in the first half and really did some nice things. Nikki Arner's just coming off of her injury, and she's still not 100%, but she's doing some very good things for us, just kind of rushing at times. And then Ashley Rando, another freshman, just very aggressive, and she's playing hard all the time. And once she gets back to 100% and she kind of understands the way the system runs, I think they're all three going to contribute very much so.
And obviously it's good to have some veteran experience. You mentioned Andrea Clancy. You've got a good senior class with Becky Hodek, Tiara Adams as well. Talk about the play of your seniors and how much they've meant to the way you've progressed throughout the year.
Well, when Becky and Tiara are playing at top of their game, I can talk about Clancy too. When all three of them are at the top of their game, we're not going to lose. And that was evident when we played against Michigan Tech. We're the only team that beat Michigan Tech in the conference, and Tech is a very, very good team, and we played well. You have to play well to beat the best team in the conference. And, this past Saturday against Saginaw, Becky was amazing. She put on a defensive clinic. She did a lot of good things offensively. Tiara only played 14 minutes, I think, or 16 minutes, had 14 points. And, she put on a clinic as well. And she's undersized for a post player, but she's just such a hard worker in there and very intense. And when they're playing well, they really fuel the fire for the rest of the players. And I think they all kind of feed off of that, and we all play well then.
Let's talk a little bit more about this past Saturday's game against Saginaw Valley. After a couple tough losses against very good teams away from home, I'm sure it was nice to come back and really play well and be able to pull out a nice win at home.
Yeah, I was a little nervous. Kelsey Denoyles is out with the flu, and she'd been starting most of the games. Like I said, Sarah's been playing well and was ready to step into that role. But, I was a little nervous going in, but we just came out and we played with a lot of determination, a lot of guts, and we really attacked them hard. And they were forced to play some people extra minutes because they had some people out with the flu as well. So, there's some things that happened there as far as Saginaw goes, but I thought offensively we were really clicking. Defensively, we did a pretty nice job on the boards. I couldn't be happier with the performance we had Saturday.
Talk about the home court advantage. In the last 3 games, you had a big win over a nationally 8th-ranked Michigan Tech team. And then you've had a couple really big wins in terms of the point margin against Northern Michigan and Saginaw Valley. How big of a home court edge has that been?
It's tremendous. I mean, when you add the band and the cheerleaders and just our home fans and the way the atmosphere is, Wink Arena is a hard place for opponents to play. It's awesome for us because we get really fired up and energized in Wink Arena. And I wish that we had a few more people come out, but at the same time, the people that are there are so active and they're so into the game that our players definitely feed off of that and know that they're there supporting us.
This week, you go back on the road, a couple games, the first ever meeting against Lake Erie on Thursday night, then you travel to Ashland on Saturday. Talk about the challenges of going on the road and being able to win in a new environment on Thursday night and then in the conference for both games.
Well, the unknown is always scary. We're going into a school we've never played at before, Lake Erie, and they just came off of a win. So, we're a little nervous about that. We don't like the idea of having to miss more classes. I know a lot of them are a little stressed out about missing classes because they're doing very well in their classes. But at the same time, it's kind of exciting. It's good for team bonding. We enjoyed our trip to Lake Superior. We went up the day before because of the snow day. And, I think that the girls are kind of excited about it as well. Ashland's been playing super. We need to go in there and be ready to play because we haven't won there in quite a while. So we really need to go in there and be ready to play. And, coming down the stretch, if we don't play well, it's going to be hard to make the tournament. And if we play well, we could win the tournament. So it's like we're right on that edge of being a very, very good team again.
Talk about some of the challenges and I guess what your team needs to do to be able to make the conference tournament with 5 games left here in the regular season.
Consistency is the word. I mean, we've been talking to them a lot about consistency. I mean, you've seen us play very well for 20-minute stretches, then you've seen us play terrible for 5 or 10 minutes. Sometimes that 5 or 10 minutes makes the difference. In the GLIAC, everybody's good. And if both teams are playing well and you have a 5-minute lull, you're going to lose the game. So we really need to be consistent. Even if we're not shooting well, we need to stay consistent on defense. We need to rebound the ball well. We need to continue to run because our size is definitely a disadvantage without Andrea Clancy. At the same time, we need some of our post players to step up. And when they do, which they did against Saginaw and Northern and Michigan Tech, when they play well, we are a really hard team to beat. The perimeters always have to play well. They're taking care of the ball and things like that. And we're minimizing turnovers. So, we talked about consistency with that. Defense, rebounding, and minimizing turnovers, and we're going to be hard to beat.
As we mentioned, you're on the road in Ohio this week, but then you're back at home. Final 3 regular season games at home against Wayne State and Findlay next week. The regular season finale against Grand Valley on February 26th. It's got to be nice to be able to play your final 3 games at home.
Well, we have one in between there with Urbana too, so we're on the road once. But yeah, it is really nice to be home and finishing up strong that way because a lot of times we're on the road, and it's hard to finish up the regular season knowing you're kind of trying to fight for a spot in the GLIAC tournament and you're on the road. So, we're very excited about being home and having that advantage because that is a definite advantage for us. We have to play well. All those teams are fighting for spots. Wayne State's fighting with us. Northwood's fighting with us. Findlay's probably in, but they're struggling right now. And we need to do our job and make sure we go out there and get some wins.
Coach, thanks for stopping by today, and best of luck the rest of the year.
Thank you.
That's going to do it for another episode of Ferris Sports Update on the Bulldog Sports Network.